Hi, my name is Robert C. Ayala, a real Democrat running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or really anyone telling us how to live, what to ingest, or how to look. A real Democrat puts you and others first. A real Democrat puts you and others first. I only want to take a couple moments today and say I continue to be a little bit depleted. The amount of death and killing in the world is just beyond pale. We have so many people who wake up every day and declare allegiance to a religion or an ideology in some manner of being pious or better than somebody else. And all this continues to do is lead to death and more death. What I don't understand today is why everybody in the world doesn't seek to push institutions and ideas and governments in similarity to the United States. No other country in the world offers its citizens the freedom to be free in all manners. And so today what I am talking to all of you about is Biden should wait. Biden should wait. He doesn't need to go to Israel. We have 2 aircraft carriers there. We have an administration in the last administration that further inflamed tensions by moving certain embassies to more religious areas and more declared areas that really didn't result in anybody's life getting better. We have a group of people who have lived in despair and trauma since Yasser Arafat. And a lot of folks just they don't remember. And so what I want to say to Americans is, where are we? In Israel, we have had a prime minister that for the last 2 years has moved a government to strip democratic norms from the institution of Israel. This is a fact. The same soldiers who are going to go out today and defend their country were on the streets just months ago protesting ideas that would have turned the state of Israel into a theological state, overridden all laws by just one person. The United States doesn't support this. Why do we support ideas that lead to authoritarian regimes? Everybody knows in the world the United States of America is Israel's best friend. We've been Israel's best friend since the end of World War II. There's no denying this. But today, as 6,000 missiles and bombs destroy Gaza, 70% of those missiles are ours. We're the ones sending them over there. And we don't ever demand from our allies the same concessions that we demand from Russia and Ukraine. So what's the difference? Why does America get all bent out of shape and run to send $77 billion of your hard-earned money? Comes out of your paycheck every week. What do you get for that? Did it go to help people? Did it go to feed them? Let's take a look. Out of $77 billion, $3.9 billion went to humanitarian aid, probably food and healthcare. 28 went to financial. I understand that, but generally, in a time of war, you have to make the war stop before you can get back to work. I know there may be some differences there, but I don't think as a consequence of defending yourself in a war that the American people should be on the hook for other people's paychecks. But the majority of our aid went to military equipment, training, and support. Weapons of death. What are we for? I'm an owl. I'm not a hawk. I'm not a dove. I'm an owl. An owl sits in the tree late at night, keeps its eyes open, and it just looks out. And then when it needs to do something, it swoops down and takes out its prey. Right? I think Teddy Roosevelt said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." But what I'm saying today is Joe Biden should wait. We have unclean hands. We went into a war in Iraq that really wasn't supportive of anybody in the United States, right? Then we had a catastrophic exit from Afghanistan that cost an additional 19 servicemen their lives. I think even a lot more other people, innocent people. And when we take the toll of America's involvement in the Iraq war, we have civilian deaths somewhere in the range of 280,000 to 315,000 people. These are human lives. If we're just taking the numbers on face value, it's probably a lot more. We're not counting the military wing. We're not counting combatants. We're not counting people who, when they see the American troops, they pick up their weapons to defend their families, right? And then they get taken out by an M1. These are the conversations we have to have, because I am for a strong defense. The United States needs more warships in the north. We need greater access to taking out drone capabilities, and we really need to just start ramping up on our drone armies, because if the folks in Ukraine can make cardboard drones that destroy infrastructure very easily, then we need to focus on things that, repel that, because it's cardboard. And so what I think today is Joe Biden should not go to Israel. Him going to Israel right now is just putting forward that we support the policies of the prime minister and everything he's done to inflame anti-democratic processes. Yes, anti-democratic processes. Because like most other politicians, including in America, for some reason, once you're a politician, well, I guess that means you have to be corrupt. You got to take the people's money. You got to lavish yourself with new ideas and new things and new houses. It's amazing. All these people in Congress, make $200,000 a year. By my calculation, unless you're married or single, you're still losing about 35-40% of it. But they all have big homes and $1 million homes and cars and go everywhere. It's because they reach into our pocket every day and take our money. And then they threaten us with the debt ceiling every quarter, which makes your stress go up, makes my stress go up. So I don't want to be totally political today, but maybe it's time for Congress to fund their own projects. Maybe it's time for Congress to give the American people back the money that they work for every day. And that way we can take the money that we earn and do things to support our families. Because our families are just as important as the families in Israel. And they're just as important as the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank. And this idea by the Israeli government to completely obliterate a political party and a military wing, I understand the military wing, destroy it, make it go. But we have to talk about why the United States, since the time of Yasser Arafat, 1994, I was coming out of high school, Bill Clinton was talking to this guy. And there's still not a hope for the Palestinian people. There's no hope. You have a tale of two cities. On one side, you see apartment buildings and hotels and beauty. And then the other side, you see refugee camps. Who as an American would would say that they would support this if this was happening to their own family members. We don't have collective punishment in the United States. We arrest people who do things to harm other people. We try them, and then, sometimes we used to hang them, but now we used to have a death penalty, but we don't have that anymore. But now we lock them up for a long time. But the underlying issue is that by President Joe Biden going to Israel right now, he's not standing up for democracy. The current prime minister is more in line with the president of China and the president of Russia. And anyone who wants to deny this, I don't make this up. I'm the messenger. Sometimes, a lot of times during tax season, as being an accountant, people get frustrated and yell at me. And it's like, I'm just the messenger. If you go and look at the history, the last 12 months, the last 24 months, you'll see the same thing. But what I see is I see human suffering. I see politicians from Hamas to Yasser Arafat to Bill Clinton to George W. Bush to Donald Trump to Joe Biden. They claim to care about people, and they may in fact care about Americans, most of them, but we don't care about humans. And until the United States, as the beacon of hope, returns to caring about humans, we're always going to be at a state of constant war. And sooner or later, we're all going to be just as old as Yasser Arafat. We're all going to pass away like Ariel Sharon, right? Another big time hawk for the Israelis, right? No, nothing changes. The circle of death continues. So, I think that if Joe Biden wants to go to Israel, that he goes to Israel with the idea that for the first time since World War II, when the United States helped dictate these rules, this new world order, and the rules of, the institutions, that he goes with a plan that allows people to live next to each other, side by side, freely. The despair, the blockade of the sea, the lack of an airport, the lack of infrastructure relative to your own communications. And even in this situation, we had Hamas breach the border, and the first thing that Israel did was turn off the water to the civilian population. This is not me. I don't believe in that. I answer to a higher power, and I will die one day. And, I'll be in front of that person. And I want to know that I did what I could to speak up for the plight of humans who are just living in despair. It's not just Ukraine. It's not just Palestine. It's not just Israel. We can look at the whole continent of Africa. And sooner or later, the world has to decide whether one person is more important than the millions of lives that they govern. Joe Biden, you should wait until you can get concrete agreements from the guy you're going to go see on how the Palestinians can move forward. Because if you do nothing today, it'll just be 30 years. They'll wait another 30 years. And all the people who are dying today under the barrage of 6,000 missiles that are primarily made in the United States of America, all of those people who have loved ones connected, they'll grow up. They'll grow up as the next revolutionaries. And the next generation will have to deal with them. And next time, it'll be worse. So, in closing, Joe Biden should wait. Thank you. My name is Robert C. Ayala, and I'm a real Democrat running for the Democratic nomination for president. A real Democrat puts you and others first. Really, that's it. That's who we're supposed to work for. We're supposed to work for the people. Somewhere along the line, folks, their egos, their personal interests, and their wallets got the best of them. I don't believe in any of those things, not really care about all those things, never mattered to me. What matters to me is my family, the people around me, and that as a human population, as the United States, that we're all doing things that we can to stop the suffering around us. We can't save everybody, and people can only save themselves. But Americans have big hearts. They always have. We're generous people. We see hope. We are the beacon for everything in the world that is evil. Every person living somewhere that is under an authoritarian hand sees America and sees hope. And I think it's time that we get away from some of the social policies in the United States and we go back to just being the economic engine that shows the world that you come here, you get a good life, you can live with family, and the light of hope shines around the world. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.